Bonjour tout le monde. So sorry about that. I forgot to do the share screen at the beginning. J'espère que vous allez bien ce matin. Et bienvenue au cours de français communautaire. Je m'appelle Monsieur Léo et je suis un prof de français et aussi chinois et aussi anglais. So I'm a French, Mandarin and English teacher for Rolla Languages. Et je suis très content que vous soyez ici. I'm very happy that you are here this morning with me. And today, as you can see from the title, we are doing irregular verb drills. So verb drills are important in language learning, because they help you think on the spot, and they also help because there are tons and tons and tons of verbs that are in French that are irregular. So not tons, but there are several verbs that are irregular in French. So it's important to know how to bounce back and forth between the regular and irregular verbs. So the before we get started, what I always do is I always ask two questions in my lesson. I always ask this question: Quelle est la date aujourd'hui? Quelle est la date aujourd'hui? So quelle, which means it means like what, et la date is the date. Aujourd'hui is today. So I always ask quelle est la date aujourd'hui? And the correct way to respond is you say c'est le. It goes c'est le, and then you say the date. Not the date, the number. C'est le. For example, today is le 17, the 17th septembre 2020. Aujourd'hui, c'est Aujourd'hui c'est jeudi, le 17 septembre 2020. Très bien. Et aussi, la deuxième question que je vous demande est ça. Quel temps fait-il? Quel temps fait-il? What does that mean? Do you have an idea? What's the weather outside? Very good. Now, it seems like every day I do this, it's the same weather, but it's the same type of weather. So, bon. Quel temps fait-il? And the way you respond is il fait. You just go il fait da 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 da. So, par exemple, aujourd'hui, il fait soleil. It's sunny out. Il fait chaud, je pense. I don't know. It's hot. I don't know. Il fait confortable. Il fait froid. Il fait froid. Oh, no. Not now, but coming up it will be. Where I am in the US, it's going to be cold soon. Oui. Bon. On va commencer avec la lecture. Not la lecture, la leçon. We're not doing a lecture today. Don't worry. Bon. So these are verb drills. We're going to look at this exercise right here. Exercise 3.12. 3.12. Conjugate the verbs. So this is a pretty self-explanatory exercise. The trick is I will give you, so these verbs, they're all in a specific grammar form. They're all in a specific form. Do you know the form that they're in, the verb form? If you do, please put it in the comments. So they are in the infinitive form. The infinitive form, it equals like to eat or to sing. That's infinitive. That's how you can think of it in English. The same thing in French. Avoir. Do we know what avoir means? It means to have. Very good. Être. Now I cannot put I don't have the code to put the accent. I forget the code. Être is to be. Très bien. Pouvoir means to be able to or can. We don't really say to can. That doesn't really make sense. And then the last one is vouloir, which means to want. Or yeah, to want. Bon. So let us look. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Bon, très bien. So the first verb we're going to look at today is avoir, which means to have. So usually in a French conjugation, we have subject. In every French verb, we have subject pronouns. Je, tu, il, elle, on, and then we have nous, vous, il, elle, pluriel. Now, avoir is a verb that begins with a vowel. And in French, there's a rule. Whenever you have a word, when the subject pronoun, this subject pronoun ends in an E. So whenever you have a, for example, when you have certain vowels. So for example, this verb, this conjugation, it turns into this. J'ai. That's the correct conjugation for that. Because you cannot say je ai, je ai. You see how that stops? In French, we call that a liaison. We call the connecting point between one vowel to another a liaison. So it's j'ai instead of je ai. See how that doesn't flow? While certain vowels, like tu, it makes a different sound linguistically. So there's no need to have a liaison, even though two vowels are followed with each other. Tu as. You see how that flows nicely? Tu as. So we have j'ai, that means I have. Tu as, you have. Now there's two yous in French. We have tu et vous. Tu is the informal, or like the one you use with your friends and so forth, while vous is more formal. You use that with teachers and doctors and what have you. And that also, this is the plural as well. We'll get into that in a bit. So the next conjugation we have is for the subject pronouns il, elle, on. Il means he, elle means she, and on means like it or one. And the correct conjugation for this one is just a. Il, elle, on, a. Très bien. The next one we have is nous. Nous in French means we. So we have nous avons. That's the correct conjugation. These are irregular verbs. They don't follow the same pattern. Like, since this is an IR verb, it would not follow the correct IR ending. So like IS, IS, IT, ISSONS, ISSEZ, ISSENT. It doesn't follow that rule. So you have to memorize these verbs together. So we have vous avez, vous avez. You notice how I'm making that vous avez? That's called a liaison in French because we have a consonant right here, vous es, and then we have an avez, we have an a right here. So vous avez, nous avons, très bien, il, elle, and then the conjugation for this one is on. Très bien, on. Elles ont, ils ont. Très, très, très bien. The next verb we have is être. This means to be. So we have je, tu, il, elle, on. D'après nous, vous, il, elle. Très bien. So this one is very irregular. You just have to memorize it. So the first conjugation is je suis. That means I am. Tu es. That means you are. Il, elle, on est. That means he, she, or one is. Très bien. Nous sommes. That means we are. Vous êtes. This has a little circumflex over the first E. A circumflex is the little. It looks like a little half of a triangle. That just signifies that the consonant change, the vowel changes a bit. And then we have ils, elles, sont. Très bien. The next verb we have is pouvoir. Now we know we looked at it up the top. We know that means to be able to, or to can, Très bien. So we have the same subject pronouns. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. I can't type today. Oh my gosh. And then the last one is il pleurait. Très bien. So, the first conjugation we have, this one's very irregular, so you just have to memorize it. It doesn't follow the IR endings like I said up the top, IS, ISIT, ISSONS, ISSEZ, ISSENT. None of these verbs follow the correct endings that follow like IR verbs or RE verbs. Or ER verbs for that matter, but there's no ER verb right now that we're looking at that's irregular. So this verb goes like this. So it's je peux. Okay. Tu peux. Il, elle, on peut. So notice it's EX, EX, ET. Pouvons. Pouvez. Peuvent. Très bien. So we have je peux, which means I can. Répétez après moi. We have je peux. Tu peux. Il, elle, on peut. Notice the same pronunciation. Je peux, tu peux, il, elle, on peut. But you just have to remember that the il, elle, on is avec un D with the T. Nous pouvons. Vous pouvez. Ils, elles peuvent. Nous pouvons means we can or we are able to. Vous pouvez is you plural or you formal. You can or you are able to. Ils, elles peuvent means you are or you are able to. They are able to. And know that French takes masculine or feminine with their subject pronouns in this form. The third person plural takes masculine or feminine. There could be a group of 999 women and one man. And since there's one man, it takes the male gender if you're describing that whole group. There's been ways to come up with like a happy medium between that. I've been reading, but I'm not 100% sure on that yet. Bon. And then the last verb we have is vouloir. Now it looks a lot like pouvoir, how it's spelt and so forth. Just a few different consonants, but we will look at it right now. So we have je, tu, il, elle, on, vous, il, elle. Très bien. Oh, sorry. Vouloir, the infinitive of vouloir means to want. So the correct conjugation for this one, it follows the same kind of pattern up here, I would say, as je peux, tu peux, il peut. So it's je veux, tu veux, il, elle, on veut. Très bien. Et après, nous avons, and after we have nous voulons. And then we have vous voulez. Vous voulez. Et après, finalement, nous avons veulent. We have veulent. That's the third person plural. Très, très, très bien. So we have vouloir, which means to want. So we have je veux, I want. Tu veux, you want. Il, elle, on veut. He, she, or one wants. Nous voulons, we want. Vous voulez, you want, plural, pluriel. Ils, elles veulent means they want. And like I said before, that the il and elle, masculine, feminine, there could be a group of 999 women and one man, and then it takes the il, the masculine subject pronoun. That's just the French rule. Okay, so I'm going to post these, and if you would like to take a screenshot, you are more than welcome to do that. Let me make it bigger. Bon. So we did this exercise today, conjugate the verbs. We looked at 4 verbs in French. These are the most common irregular verbs in French that you will use throughout your French studies if you study French or what have you. Avoir, être, pouvoir, et vouloir. These are very common verbs. They help you construct precise thoughts. They help you construct very clear examples when you use these, which is nice, which is very helpful when learning a language. Just so we can note that these verbs right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, these are in the infinitive form. These are not conjugated. Infinitive is basically the most simplest form of the verb. It's like to have, to be able to. It's not conjugated yet. When it conjugates, that's when it gets a little more complicated. In French, there are rules. There are conjugations that stay the same, but there are verbs that don't follow the same suit, like EES, EONS, EZENT, and stuff like that. I have a video I think a few months back, where I look at ER verbs, IR verbs, and RE verbs ensemble, together, not together, differently. And if you have any questions, you could always refer back to that. Leave a comment so I could come back and I can help you if you need help. Bon. So I hope that today's lesson was helpful with these 4 verbs, these quick verb drills. And now an exercise you could do at home is you could write these on a flashcard. You could put the subject pronoun je or je apostrophe, and then you could put the correct conjugation on the back, and then you could play with someone. You could say avons. What's avons? That's nous. Nous avons. Très bien. And then you can just memorize that like that, because these are helpful when you're going higher and higher in your French studies. Bon. So, j'espère que cette leçon était agréable avec vous. I hope that today's lesson was very agreeable. Not agreeable. I don't know. I hope that his lesson was very helpful. Let's say that's what that means. Helpful. And I hope that you keep studying French. And please take a peek at our website. We have it going down here below, rolalang.com, where we offer tons of resources. Whether it's website, on our website, we offer worksheets. We offer class schedules. We have a new schedule that I think is up right now. It's for the month of October. So we have a bunch of classes that are hopefully running. And we would love to see you guys in those classes. Those classes will be held on Zoom. So you might have one of either myself or some of my awesome colleagues as a teacher. So we would gladly want to see you in our classes, and we look forward to seeing you guys. So if you don't have any other questions, please leave a comment. If you have any questions, sorry, please leave a comment down below, and I will see you mardi prochain. Mardi prochain. Au revoir tout le monde. Au revoir.